I'm a corporate recruiter and I review your resumes. The resume we have up first is a data analyst. And I want to let everybody I do more than tech, but right now the tech market is absolute garbage and software engineers and data analysts are the most common resume that is sent to me. But so what we need for a data analyst, and this is a bad resume, by the way, they told me specifically that they have tried several different resume formats, all with the same result. Rejections or nothing. They have received only one phone interview over the last 8 months, which is insanely bad, but it was for an industry misalignment for them. You typically tailor your resume to every job. Never do that. That's actually a way to get declined. And I came across your channel recently and recognized your name from job search hacks on Reddit. Just finished remaking my resume using your format. Thanks for everything you do. So, first off, this is their newer version, so we'll see how good their newer version is. It does look like they followed my formatting, which is good. What you want to do is this. This is how it should look. This is how you do it. The link to that is in the description below. But the most important part is not just the formatting, it's the bullet points. And this person stated that they tailor their resume to every job. That is how you get declined. That is not how ATSs work. ATSs work by sorting you on a first come, first served basis. So the longer it takes you to input your resume into them, the worse your chances. So what you want to do, and this is actually a key part of the job search strategy I tell people, which is also in my guide, which is in the link below, is that you want to tailor your resume to a job title. So in this case, you would make a resume that is titled to data analysts and use that data analyst resume to mass apply without further changing it. But that does mean if you want to be a data engineer and a data analytics engineer, you would need 3 separate resumes. And I have gotten people a ton of jobs before, especially with data analysts. If you want to see an example of a phenomenal data analyst resume, check out episode 223 of this series. But let's see if this resume's new version is good or bad. So 20 seconds is on the clock. That is all the amount of time recruiters have to look at it. And what we need is SQL data visualization, influencing stakeholders, explaining technical concepts to non-technical stakeholders, how you solved a problem with data, not what the data is, MS Excel, macros, pivot tables, VLOOKUP, Word, ETL, Python, R, multiple projects, and deadlines. So let's see if they have it in 20 seconds. That is all the time we have. And go. Okay, degree is fine. Led cross-functional analytics initiative to find KPIs. Okay, this is a hot dog. Analyzed affluent data lead with SQL to identify worth of invalid traffic resulting in hot dog. Built predictive models through Tableau data visualizations, good. Giving non-technical teams visibility, hot dog. Automated Python and time. So formatting wise, this is almost perfect. The one exception is this should not be bolded. This should not be bolded down here. Neither of those should be bolded. But the problem with this is not the formatting. It's the bullet points, which are very, very bad. So I mentioned earlier that they had a hot dog, and what that means is recruiters are looking for hamburgers and not hot dogs. So I want you to imagine that you are hungry and you go to a restaurant and you're like, hey, I want a cheeseburger with onions and pickles and onions. They say, all right, cool, cheeseburger with pickles and onions. You say cheeseburger, pickles, and onions. They say, all right, let me bring that out for you. So they go to the back, they bring you out a hot dog with cheese, pickles, and onions, and they say, okay, here's your hamburger. And you go, this is not a hamburger, this is a hot dog. I wanted a hamburger. And they say, well, this is what you wanted because a hot dog has cheese, a hot dog has onions, a hot dog has pickles, a hot dog has bun, and a hot dog has meat. Thus, it is everything that you wanted. This is what you ordered. You would say, no, it's not. I wanted a cheeseburger, and you would walk away and leave. And that is the problem with this resume is everything here is a hot dog. So what recruiters are looking for is hamburgers, and we don't want adjacent to what we're looking for. We don't want stuff that implies what you did it. We want you to directly state it. So does the hiring manager. And there is a difference between keywords and qualifications. So recruiters are qualification hunting, not keyword hunting. And a keyword is this. It's what the hiring team needs. But a qualification is what you did, which is a keyword, how you did it, which I will say this person kind of did, then the reason or result that is the business reason that is not a number, which they did not do, and where they did it. So those 4 things are what we're actually looking for. And you need 75% of these in qualification format. So when you start viewing through this data analyst lens through this way, which is A, they were applying late because they were redoing their resume, which is already bad, and their bullet points are terrible, which is why they have such a terrible ratio, which is how many applications it takes to get an interview. On average, when people follow my advice, they get a 1 interview per 7 application. So if you're doing fully remote, it's going to be a little higher, or if you're international, it's going to be a little higher, but that's the average ratio. So looking at it through the lens of a qualification format and not a keyword format, and this is where we start to have the problem. So let me highlight this correctly. Led cross-functional analytics initiatives. Okay, that's not bad. It gives me a little bit of a context. To define KPIs and deliver trusted reporting, decision marketing, and leadership. The problem is that is nothing here. Remember, a keyword is needed, but a keyword is one part of the 4 that I need. And this does not have any keywords. This does have the how and the reason result, but this one actually doesn't have the keyword, which is, so we don't want this. There's nothing here that we need. Every single data analyst tries to put KPIs, and I have no idea why. It's not something they're typically asked for in the job description, and if it's not in the job description, it doesn't matter. Also, you don't want to put when you graduated if it's more than 3 years ago. All you need to put is status graduated, right? So just here, status graduated. You don't need to show that you graduated in 2017. If you graduated less than 3 years ago, put your date. Otherwise, don't. So then we go down to here, and it's analyzed affiliate lead data with SQL. Okay, I do want SQL, right? That is something I'm looking for. To identify 3 years worth of invalid traffic resulting in reimbursements. This is not really what I want, though. Like, I'm okay with resulting in reimbursements. The problem is you have to, A, have more keywords, which is shocking. Most people have enough keywords, but not the rest of the qualifications. But I need each bullet point to have a minimum of 3 keywords, maximum of 6. So not only do you not have enough here, the thing is, why is it important that you have 3 years worth of invalid traffic? Is that something that we really want a data analyst to do? SQL is great, but what about influencing stakeholders? What about explaining technical concepts? Is this a problem that they had? And why is it resulting in reimbursements? Is reimbursements good? Because this kind of means that it sounds like you're costing the company money. Good for the customer, which I like, but like, you need to explain why this is important that you had this. And don't use a number. You don't want to use a number unless you're a manager in sales. They use numbers. Otherwise, don't. Then built predicted conversion models delivered through Tableau data visualization. Tableau data visualization is good. Giving non-technical teams visibility. Again, this is not what I want. So I don't want you to build something that gives them visibility. I want you to build something, and then I want you to show me how you explain technical concepts. Those are separate keywords. This is not it's giving non-technical teams visibility into daily pacing versus monthly goals. The problem is, how is that relevant? I don't know. You didn't tell me. So you really need to describe that in a way that's actually relevant. Automated Python-based data pipelines. Okay, that's fine. By integrating payment system, delivering, again, daily financial revenue reporting for e-commerce. That all you have there is Python. Design dimensional data models to clean messy Salesforce. Again, nothing here I need. So this is bad. And then built an automated ETL. ETL is nice. Pipeline using pandas and SQL. Okay, to replace manual Excel workflows, transforming fragmented data into analytic data sets. Why is this important? I don't know. You didn't describe it. Also, I kind of want to see how you used Excel. You know, Excel is a very, very common thing that they ask for on data analyst jobs. And if you don't have Excel, and I don't mean replacing it, I mean using it more, they're gonna probably reject you. So this is an almost good bullet point you have down here, right? Like, I actually want to give you a little bit of props, is most of this is good, right? So built and automated ETL pipelines using Python, pandas, and SQL to replace manual Excel workflows. So that's good. The problem is, why did you do it? Because this does not give me the description of why. But I want you to write the rest of your bullet points like this. This is how I want you to start them off, because this is good. The problem is you now have enough keywords in this sentence, but you don't describe the how or the reason or result well. Well, you don't describe the reason or result. I think you did the how very well. So this is the problem with this data analyst resume. This is why you're getting 0 interviews in 8 months, except for 1. When I normally get people 1 interview per 7 applications. And if you're an international and a data analyst, it's about 1 in 30 to 1 in 100, which is not great, but unfortunately that's probably the best you're going to get. I've taken people from data analysts from over 1,000 that are internationals to 1 in 30. But every other data analyst should get a 1 in 7 to a 1 in 15 unless you are looking for only remote roles. So that is why this resume is bad. Also, I want to let everybody know I have not slept in like 3 days, so if I miss some basic stuff and you were curious in the comments, let me know. But I think if your resume is really, really good and it's good enough to get past a recruiter that is completely sleep deprived, then it's a fantastic resume, which this is not. So before we go to the next resume, I just want to thank you all for watching, commenting, liking, subscribing. I really appreciate it, and I wanted to give a special thanks to my members who get access to these videos a little bit early. Thank you very much for supporting my channel. I really appreciate it. And if anybody wants to join, they can join in the link below. Or if anybody needs more help, they can join my live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST on twitch.tv/headlessheadhunter and here on YouTube. But let's go to the next resume. This is another data analyst resume. So we need the same as the last one. This person sent me a little bit of a confusing note. They said it takes them 100 applications to get an interview, but then they also said 30 apps to 1 phone call, and they are tailoring to every job posting. Stop tailoring to every job posting. It is lowering your chances. Make a job title resume. Use that resume to mass apply. The more you start tailoring your resume for every role, the worse your chances, okay? So stop doing it. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but getting a job is 2 things, right? Getting an interview is 2 things. 1, relevancy of the resume, which is why you tailor it to the job title, and speed at which you apply. Both of those are important. If you don't have both, you won't make it. If you only speed apply and the resume is not relevant, you will get declined. If you have a perfectly aligned resume and you submit it and they never see it because you submitted it late, you will get declined. It is 50% of both is needed. So we have 20 seconds on the clock. Let us see if this is good or bad. Yeah, let's find out. And go. Formatting is off. Okay, used Python good to pull student performance data from CalJobs, cleaned and analyzed. Everyone does clean. No one cares about cleaning data. This is a hot dog. Developed and maintained reports and tracking tools using Excel, good, and SharePoint, don't care. Mid bullet point. Assisted with the process of documentation. Okay, hot dog and time. Sorry, I'm gonna give them 1 more bullet point because no, I'm not gonna do it. So yeah, this is part of the problem. And so first off, I want to say this is good because you have Python and you also have Excel, and that alone is probably what's getting you some interviews, is because everybody thinks they're so basic that they don't. And you actually kind of did some of this right, like used Python, okay, good, to pull student performance data from CalJobs for private and public universities. Okay, this gives me the context of what you did. But then this part, then you started to slip into a hot dog, right? And then cleaned and analyzed it. I don't really care about that. In fact, you could have even just had ensuring the programs met compliance requirements tied to government funding. So, in fact, I'm going to remove that part. I think that is actually better. So, you do need more keyword. I hate saying that. You need, like, 1 more keyword here, and then when you mention... actually, no, you need 2, because remember, that this is a good how, this is a good result, is this part that I have left unhighlighted. But I don't have enough. Like, I want a little bit more. And then we go down to here and develop and maintain reporting and tracking tools using Excel. good, although I would prefer you to put it up front. So I would rather you just say developed Excel and then macros, pivot table, VLOOKUP, tracking tools to, and then I need more stuff. Because remember, each keyword, each sentence needs a minimum of 3 keywords, a maximum of 6. Otherwise, they're not going to find enough stuff in the amount of time they have. And then here, identified with blah, 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 blah. This doesn't matter. This is a hot dog. Completely irrelevant. And again, I don't care about SharePoint. So this doesn't matter. This doesn't matter. This doesn't matter. So you did write, like, again, I like what you did in the sentence structure. It's just you filled it with a lot of stuff that's irrelevant. So this one, use SQL to store and query dealership KPI. Why does everybody go so much on KPIs? I understand KPIs are part of your job, but it's rarely in a job description. But at least like dealership KPIs, data by joining multiple certificates, improving accuracy, speed. Again, this is joining multiple surface, don't really care. Improving data accuracy. Why do I care that you improve data accuracy, and what do you mean by speed? I don't know. Which enable Power BI dashboards to track which dealerships are performing well. See, this part is good. Again, but you only have 2. Your bullet points only have 2 in each of these. I need 3 at a minimum. And you fill it with so much hot dog. So I actually do understand why this is getting interviews, because you do write it correctly when you write it, and you do have some of the qualifications. It's just you bury it so deep that I can't find it. Built Python scripts to full KPI to pull data. Again, the KPI doesn't really matter as much. From dealership websites. Don't really care that you cleaned and organized in Excel. I care about Excel, but cleaned and organized is irrelevant to make it accurate. Okay. Then built dashboards to show insights. See, this is okay. So what I'm really missing is, also you mentioned Power BI like 3 times in this job. You only want to mention it once per job if you can. But I really want to see how you influence stakeholders, and I want to see how you explain technical concepts to non-technical stakeholders. I do see how you solved a problem with data. I do see MS Excel, kind of. I do see Python. I don't see multiple projects and deadlines. I do see your degree. I do see the industry, and I do see SQL and data visualization. But I need you to put in how you influence stakeholders and how you explain complex topics to non-technical people. And I need you to apply early, because this is not a garbage resume, right? Like it's just a resume that's filled with too many hot dogs. Next resume. This is a resume of a Python developer. So this person, we do not know their ratio. They said seeking junior Python devs or internships. Those are 2 different resumes. A very good Python internship resume will fail to get you a full-time Python job, and a really, really good full-time Python resume will fail to get you an internship job. So those are very different things, at least in the US. But I have gotten people jobs all across the world: Africa, UK, EU, Canada, Mexico, obviously the US, India, and I think Singapore. The only one that apparently I can't get people a job so far is the Netherlands. So my advice works almost everywhere in the world with the exception of the Netherlands. But this is not the Netherlands. But I would still say that you want to pick either a junior Python or an intern. You don't want both. In fact, because you've already graduated, I don't think you're going to be able to get an internship. Most internships, unless it's very different in where you're going to, are based entirely on you currently being enrolled. So you're not able to really get one, but you should be able to get a junior role. So what we need for Python is Python, SQL, any of them, Docker, any cloud, RESTful APIs, REST APIs, Git, CI/CD, and then this is where it breaks down into 2 different things. You either want AI, which can be, there's a lot of AI, so any AI, or full stack. Plus, you really probably want Fast API, Flask, or Django. And then rarer, but it is asked for, is ETL, Java, OAuth 2, MongoDB, microservices architecture. So those are what we are going to be looking for. And let's see if we can find it in 20 seconds. 20 seconds is on the clock, and go. Okay, good. Formatting's a little off, but not the worst. All right, tech, this doesn't matter. Developed a Python REST API using Flash and MySQL to manage product inventory, supplier record, and order processing. Good, perfect. Used OOP by designing product supplier order database error. No. Used parameterized SQL. You already the placeholder in MySQL to prevent SQL. Way too much SQL. And time. So your formatting is off, right? You want your formatting to look like this. And the only point of this formatting is so that we can read further in 20 seconds. That's the entire point of formatting. People like, your formatting needs, no, the formatting's only purpose is so that we can read more. And this resume starts off okay and strong. I'm not going to say it starts off strong. The problem is, again, you filled this with a bunch of stuff that this doesn't count. And then, is this thesis related? AI, ML detection, smart analytics. This is probably too technical to the point where they're not going to understand what it is. Now, you can put like education and then thesis and then put a link to it in your project section in GitHub right here or something, but they're not going to understand it. Their eyes are going to glaze over. And it's also like, what did this do with AI ML? I don't know. And I know people make fun of me, but I am a tech recruiter and I do know a bit about tech, at least from a hiring standpoint. And applied topological data analysis combined with AI ML for anomaly detection and smart energy and IoT network is not relevant for the majority of roles. And I'm not really sure how that would be relevant for AI. Maybe you're some incredible genius, and you actually might be, but they're not going to understand it. This is too technical. I would recommend removing this and putting it into your project section, or putting it under here, right? Like put another bullet point here, and in a single line, put it there. Because again, this should be one line, this could be one line. So fix your formatting, because I only got down to here when I could probably have gotten down to here if you fixed it. But then we go down to the actual bullet points, and your first one is not bad. In fact, I think it's pretty good. Developed a Python, REST API, maybe. Sometimes the grammar is a little off. That might be okay for this one. Using Flask and MySQL. Okay, good. To manage project inventory record. Perfect. I don't have a ton of notes there. And then, so this is good. I like this. I really do. Would I prefer you to have a 6 in your first instead of 3 keywords? Yes, but still, it's good. I like how you wrote it. Wouldn't really change it. And then the rest of it is where we start having issues. Used OOP, not really what I'm looking for in a Python dev. It's weirdly enough for Java. Maybe it's different where you are relocating to, which could be the case. Some of these are different. Like, even though my advice works everywhere in the world except the Netherlands, it's like, instead of being 100% effective, it's like 92% effective. But used OOP by designing order, none of this matters. This is way too technical. They're not going to care. And again, if you notice, my eyes actually missed this part over here. I'd rather you just start with used Docker, good, and Docker Compose, don't care. Docker and Flask API. But you already mentioned Flask, so that doesn't matter. You already mentioned SQL, so this doesn't matter. So the only thing in this sentence is Docker. And the rule is you want to mention one of the same type of keywords per job. So as an example, mentioning which was a good one? Did I miss that? Was that Flask or API? Yeah, Flask. All right, let's see a good one down here. Where you have, so mentioning RESTful APIs here, good. Mentioning RESTful APIs here, good. Mentioning RESTful APIs here, bad. So this would be bad if you did it there. So one of the same keywords per job. That's your goal. And the problem is you mentioned like SQL 80 times throughout this, but you already mentioned it up here and you don't mention it down here, which is the problem. So then we go down to here and it's use SQL. Again, you already mentioned that. You already mentioned this entire thing is SQL. You've already mentioned SQL. This bullet point gives us nothing. And then down here, which is implemented GitHub Actions, CI/CD pipelines, good. That whatever you wrote here is fine. Mathematically instills dependency in code bases. But again, I need one more because GitHub Actions and CI/CD are 2 keywords. You need a minimum of 3. So I need 1 keyword here. This sentence only has 1 keyword, so I need 2 keywords here. And then this is where I was able to couldn't go further down. So I'm also missing AI. Like, yes, I know your thesis was a part of it, but I don't understand how. And I need you to actually mention how. And I don't see full stack. So this is part of the problem that you're having. It's not the worst resume ever, right? But like, you're missing the full stack or the AI. And your resume is so incredibly difficult because it has a lot of repetition that we're actually going to miss the stuff that we actually need. You never want to bury what we need. And right now you're kind of burying it between these bad sentences and this formatting. Next resume. This is an embedded software engineer, which the market for embedded software engineer is pretty good right now. So good for this person. So what we need for embedded software engineer is degree C, or C++, probably both. I should have added ++. And Python, TCP IP, real-time operating systems, RTOS, Agile, microcontrollers, ISO, debugging systems, the type of industry and what you're working on. So in this case, it would be like aerospace circuit boards or train. I don't know enough about trains. Train somethings. And then nice to have is this stuff. There's a lot of it down here, but I can't go over all of it. So all of that, you don't need all of that, just some of that. So this person says they have a 1 in 75. So let me see if that is actually accurate. It may not be, but 20 seconds on the clock. Let's find out for an embedded software engineer. And go. This doesn't count. Where's your education? Okay, good. Down there. Develop security features guided by mentor. NIST. No. Hot dog. Assistant. Well, NIST I think was okay. Assistant with data security. Okay, good. Support PH projects. Not really related. Modernized hash tray. Okay, yeah, there's nothing here. This would get rejected. Let me read what they wrote. Basically trying to apply for intern roles as well. Okay, those are separate resumes. You need the intern resume that gets you an internship is not the same resume that gets you a full-time job, and vice versa. Your resume needs to be specific. If you have a generalized resume, you will fail. That is rule number 4 of recruitment. No generalized resumes. Generalized resumes, bad. So, wanting to just get whatever I can, I get that, but you need to be specific. Mainly interested in C++. My old resume passed a Google interview and have a retake in July, but it was way worse. Still, I fixed a lot of things and everything is starting to get interviews. I have one from a smaller one Monday, and I could never do one smaller companies. Also in the process for visa. Please let me know if I should move the piano instructor. Some people said it helps Fang. I mean, the problem is that I don't know what you're looking for. This might be some kind of software embedded engineer type thing, or some kind of niche. I know I've seen NIST before. NIST is actually something I do want, but what was it? Let me look what I wanted NIST for. Like an SOC analyst, cybersecurity, cyber, or a systems administrator, I think. What? Is that right? Yeah, systems administrator, this would probably work as. So I think those are the kind of things that I'd be looking for a system admin, which... Actually, I don't think this is terrible for system admin. It's a little bit better for system admin. For a GRC analyst, this actually kind of works for a GRC analyst. So the problem is this resume is just so chaotic that I don't really know what role you're going for. You might be good for one of those roles, but not all of them at the same time. So I'm going to need you to delete this entire resume. Right? And then I'm going to need you to break it down into multiple resumes. Maybe one for SOC analyst. One for embedded software engineer. One for backend Python. The problem is it's trying to do too much and it's not working. Yeah, here, TCP is nice. Like, it's too much stuff. Too much stuff. This is the problem. In fact, this might actually be okay if I go down to here. Built memory with ISO. Okay, too complicated. Non-blocking TCP I would need. Too complicated. Wrote Google test for TTL. Is that something I need? No. So yeah, you got to break it down, because if you were applying for any industry that wasn't hot, which it looks like you're applying for hotter industries, you would be in trouble. So I'm going to need you to delete this and start again. I'm going to need you to make it look like this, and I'm going to need you to make these non-technical. This is the stuff that matters. If it's not this, it doesn't matter, and this is going to change for each resume that you make. So make more resumes that are broken down, make them easy to understand, and I think you probably have enough for embedded. Just do this. I think you said you didn't have microcontrollers, and that's okay. If you have the rest of it, you should be good. Next resume. This is a resume of a full stack software developer, which is the first one we're doing this stream. Normally I get like 3 of these a stream. This is the most common software engineer resume that I get. So what we need is degree, TypeScript, JavaScript, CSS, HTML, TypeScript, JavaScript, CSS, HTML, TypeScript, JavaScript, HTML, CSS. Not Tailwind, not HTML5, TypeScript, JavaScript, HTML, CSS. Sometimes you can replace TypeScript with another backend language, but if you do not have that, you are probably going to get rejected. It is that critical, it is that basic, but it is needed. So, React or React.js, Node.js, Angular, Next.js, SQL or NoSQL, RESTful APIs or REST APIs, Cloud, any of them, but if you put Google Cloud Platform, you have to put that and then parentheses GCP. You don't need to do that for AWS. CI/CD, Git, .NET or Python or Java, so a backend language basically. And bonus points for AI, architecture, extra language, and DevOps and GraphQL. So what is this person's ratio? The answer to that is unknown. We do not know anything else about it. They told me nothing. They are in my chat right now, which, again, if anybody ever wanted to get more help, they can join my live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST on twitch.tv/headlessheadhunter and on YouTube. So after this, I am going to help them out a little bit more. But for this video, I have no idea anything else about this resume. So 20 seconds on the clock. I have no idea the ratio. Let's see if this is a meet or a yeet. And start. Okay, degree. Good. Develop, maintain cross-platform at Vivify using React, Native, JavaScript, TypeScript. Okay. Utilized. This is, I need more description. Created RESTful API with Twilio. Don't need it. The rest of that I do. Okay. Set up CID for Git Docker. This is mid. I think this is a 1 in 50. I think this would get people, I think this would get them interviews, but I think it's only going to be a 1 in 50 rather than a 1 in 7. So let's work to change that. So first off, your formatting is mostly correct. There's a slight, I feel like there's a slight something here, and I don't know what this is, but this looks a little different. But anyway. Then we go down to, oh, that was it. It's there should not be a space between this. That's what it was. Again, very minor issue. There needs to be a space between this, but not a space between this. So you messed up the spacing on these things. Again, very minor, not the biggest issue. Let's go to the bullet points. So, develop and maintain cross-platform mobile applications at Vivify using React Native. So you gave me a little bit of hot dogs and you kind of buried the lead. I want your tech stack to start in the first half of the sentence. Do not bury your tech stack at the end of it. Your tech stack is the most important part of your resume. So what you should say is, developed a mobile application using TypeScript, JavaScript, HTML and CSS, and React to build user interfaces at Vivify Solutions for a cross-platform app, right? So again, you want to put this in the first half. And where is HTML and CSS? You need HTML and CSS. No one cares about React Native. Just say React, all right? Or React.js. Then utilize, don't say utilize, just say used, Python, Django, and Node.js to build and manage our backend systems. Why? Why was that important? What was the point of that? I don't know. You didn't tell me. Created RESTful APIs integrated with Twilio. Again, I don't know if Twilio really matters. You could just say created RESTful APIs using, overzealous. I was overzealous. Using Next.js on a NoSQL database, right? Again, you're burying your tech here. Don't do that. For users under the age of 13 for updating their accounts. So again, you just need to reorder this sentence. This is not a bad sentence. It's just the tech goes first. The rest of it goes later because the tech is the most important part. The rest of it is context for the tech. Then set up CI/CD pipelines using GitHub Actions and Docker, Git-based version control, and made back in Employees Cloud. Good. So here's my problem with this. What cloud? You need to tell me the cloud specifically, and cloud's important. I would probably put this cloud up here. Like I would say, developed a mobile app using TypeScript, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, React in an AWS or whatever cloud environment. So in a whatever cloud environment to maintain cross-platform applications for user interfaces. So again, I would put that up there. And then the third sentence is actually fine of set up CI/CD pipelines using GitHub Actions and Docker with Git-based control to automate our back-end deployments. So you actually don't even need the end of that. But I would put the AWS or what I'm assuming it's AWS. It might not be. It might be Azure or GCP. But I would put the cloud up there. So the cloud should be up there. And then down here is most of this is that. So again, what am I missing? I'm missing CSS and HTML. I'm missing. That's it. Yeah, that's it. I'm just missing CSS and HTML, and I'm missing the fact that your bullet points are out of order. So just you need to reorder the tech stack to be the first part of the sentence rather than the second. But otherwise, this is mostly good. Just fix the minor formatting issues. So that is why I think this is probably a 1 in 50. If you are applying on time, you do those changes, it should be much better. So again, you're gonna struggle. I don't think you're ever gonna get a 1 in 7 because you only have a year of non-internship experience, and that's usually what you need to get a 1 in 7. But you could probably get a 1 in 10 to a 1 in 20 with this. So that's all I can do for this. And that is it for this episode. So thank you very much for watching, liking, commenting, subscribing. I really do appreciate it. And if you, to my members who get access to videos a little bit early, thank you very much for supporting me. I really appreciate it. If anybody wants to be a member, they can join in the link below. But that is it for this video. So thank you very much, and I will see you in the next video to help you get ahead of your job search. Later, y'all.